the damages. We are making sure to get to all people that are in those vicinities and stationed in those locations to do those proper assessments on those. But generally, most of the current outages will be sorted by restoration of commercial power. So I'd say if as JPS restores over the next couple of days, most of those will be back up, but we still have work to do to tidy up the rest. I think within the space of about 2 weeks, I'd say everything will be back to normality. But the majority, I'd say up to 95%, will be resolved once we have commercial power restored.
Stephen Price, General Manager of Flow. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz has confirmed that the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James will reopen for flights at 6 p.m. today. This follows the passage of Hurricane Beryl on Wednesday. The Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston is expected to be reopened on Friday morning.
This is a reminder that the Norman Manley International Airport will reopen for normal flight operations tomorrow morning, Friday at 5 a.m. and also Sangster International Airport will reopen for 6 p.m. this afternoon, Thursday. So it is important for all airport staff at both locations to be available to report for work as per their respective shifts, as we need to get back to business as quickly as possible and for the airports to reopen.
Darrell Vaz, Transport Minister. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
Live exquisite this year with new arrival black and chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661 to 2.
UC Rosal Alumina Jamaica Limited, Windalco, is advising all employees that the Yuaton refinery in St. Catherine and all other company locations are back in operation. All employees scheduled to work on the 4 p.m. to midnight shift today, July 4, and the midnight to 8 a.m. shift Friday, July 5, are to report for duty. All other employees scheduled for the 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. workday are also advised to report to work. That was an announcement from Windalco.
This summer, transform your summer body with Express Fitness Gym. For just $9,500 on AutoPay, you'll get access to all our locations 24/7. Enjoy free classes, fully air-conditioned facilities, showers, and changing rooms. Plus, our certified trainers are here to help you reach your goals. Visit Express Fitness Gym today. Your goal is our mission. Find a location near you or sign up now at pay.expressfitnessja.com.
This is a public service announcement from Flow. Flow advises its customers that with the passage of Hurricane Beryl, our retail stores will reopen tomorrow, Friday, July 5, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to serve you. Flow wishes you continued safety and thanks you for your understanding. That was a public service announcement from Flow.
This is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. As at 2 a.m. this morning, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security has confirmed that 182 shelters are in operation with 1,432 persons. The MLSS has an adequate supply of food and hygiene kits to address the immediate needs of persons staying in the shelters, and teams have already been dispatched to deliver supplies to them. The humanitarian response team, led by the MLSS in collaboration with Red Cross, ADRA, the Salvation Army, Food for the Poor, and other NGOs, has initiated house-to-house assessments in communities, which are accessible and will be providing emergency assistance as necessary. The teams will also be conducting assessments of damage to homes and making recommendations regarding necessary assistance. Persons who have been affected are encouraged to contact their parish disaster organizations. MLSS parish offices are open to handle matters related to disaster response and other emergencies. The ministry urges all persons to remain safe during this period and to stay tuned for further updates throughout the day.
The Jamaica Customs Agency is advising that the safety of our staff, customers, and other stakeholders remains our priority as we encounter the weather system, Beryl. We urge you to keep abreast on the latest advisories issued by the relevant government authority and encourage you to stay tuned to this station for updates from the JCA regarding our operations at the sea and airports and our head and corporate offices. You may also follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook at Jamaica Customs Agency and at X at Jamaica Customs for official customs-related information. Your safety and ours remains a priority. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alwick Swiby. We both things off with some cricket as the West Indies closed the second day of their three-day tour game against the first-class County 11 on 57 for 2, batting a second time at Beckenham in England. The Windies lead by 23 runs after the hosts declared their first innings on 373 for 4 in reply to the Caribbean team's first innings 339 all out. Zachary McCaskey, 2, and Jamaica's Kirk Mackenzie, 17, are the men dismissed. Mikhail Lewis, 28, and Alec Athanes, who is yet to score, are the not-out batsmen. Will Luxton led the home team's batting with an undefeated 112 and Harry Duke 46 knockout. Scores in the match so far: West Indies 57 for 2 and 339, County 11, 373 for 4 declared. West Indies vice-captain Alzari Joseph took 1 for 33 from 10 overs.
It was pretty good getting a run out after not bowling red ball for a couple of months. So I think I got what I needed out of it. Get a few overs on my belt, spending some time out in the field. Always good when you get wickets. The mode dismissal was pretty okay as well. The setup was good, so I don't mind, getting a chance to come out and get an opportunity to get back into things.
The Windies are in England for a 3-test series starting on July 10. Jaden Seals has been in England competing in the county championships, and Joseph says Seals has a big role to play in the series.
Yeah, he's been up here playing the county championship, so he's had a good feel for conditions. So I think he'll have a pretty good season for us. Our last test series was pretty good, so we're looking forward to building on that.
Alzari Joseph. Now, Cricket West Indies CWI has not renewed the contracts of Desmond Haynes and Anne Brown-John as lead selectors effective June 30. Haynes, who was appointed to the role in January 2022, and Brown-John, appointed in October 2019, have both made significant contributions to the organization during their tenures. CWI Director of Cricket Miles Bascom says they will continue the quest for excellence in the selection system with ongoing restructuring efforts, including the implementation of new and improved processes. Veteran cricket commentator Joseph Rez Pereira says there's a suggestion that the future teams will be picked by the coach and the captain.
Is this a format for both white ball and red ball? We just have to wait and see. It would be fairly far-fetched to be adapted. England tried this with Root as captain and Silverwood as coach, and it failed and had to change it very, very quickly.
Joseph Pereira. It is anticipated that the new system will take effect following ratification at the upcoming CWI Board of Directors meeting later this month. Now, General Manager of Independence Park Limited, Major Desmond Brown, says preliminary inspection has revealed minimal damage to the facilities following the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Major Brown says his team will be conducting a more thorough investigation tomorrow.
The only damage we've seen so far is that some of the tiles on the outdoor netball court, they lifted up. We'll be doing a more closer inspection tomorrow. I think they should be able to just pull apart and reset, but we're going to do a closer inspection tomorrow. But so far, that's the only thing that we have observed. The arena was used as a shelter. We had 43 persons there, and they all moved out today, so it's closed now. So we don't have any issues there. But tomorrow, we'll do a more detailed inspection of all the facilities.
Major Desmond Brown. Independence Park Limited houses some of the country's major sporting facilities, including the National Stadium, the National Indoor Sports Centre, the Lilo Robinson Courts, and the National Arena. Now on to athletics, as national 110 meters hurdles champion Rashid Broadbell says he'll use the Diamond League races in Paris on July 7 and Monaco on July 12 as part of his preparation for the Summer Olympics, which is set to start on July 26. Broadbell retained the national title, winning a close race in 13.18 seconds. The reigning Commonwealth Games champion says he'll be running faster and hurdling cleaner by the time the Olympic Games begin.
That's not my personal best, so my body is running up into shape. Each race I get faster and faster, so now I have a month out is just to do some extra preparation now, get the real work going, because I haven't been doing any much speed work. I just stopped doing the gym in this week, so it's looking really good. As I said, my body is coming into condition right now. We're not really rushing anything, it's just round by round. I've run the fastest time in the world already. I'll do it twice. I know I can do it again, it's in the body, so we just have to wait and see what the results are. I'll be doing 2 Diamond Leagues right after this, and then it's in the process of being prepared, so that is just on the journey.
Rashid Broadbell. Now on to footballers. Nutrition plays a crucial role in enhancing athletics performance, a fact emphasized by Malta and the Professional Football Jamaica Limited (PFJL) during their recent event, Kicking Cuisine to Fuel Your Game, a cooking program held at the Summit Hotel. CEO of PFJL, Owen Hill, says as part of the Malta Sparks campaign, this initiative aimed to develop the tactical, nutritional, holistic and psychological skills of under 17 footballers.
It's excellent, I must say. Malta has stepped up massively. They're concerned about the overall health and well-being of the total athlete, and it is evident with their executions. It's not just on the pitch where we're playing practice games and sessional duties with the coaches, but it's targeting the caregivers and the actual athletes, how to understand balance, nutrition, and how important it is for their overall well-being.
Arnott Gardens, Waterhouse, Portmore United and Harbourview are the first set of teams participating in Professional Football Jamaica Limited League's Elite Development Program.
We start with 4 teams at the under-17 level. The success of this program will end up creating that snowball effect where even individually within their own clubs, they will become ambassadors to the other programs. So an under-17 player here can now actually help to lead an under-15 program in what a balanced diet is, how to prepare easy, quick and go nutritional products for their own mental and physical development. So the vision is always to expand and to grow with more teams being a part of it across the island.
Owen Hill. Now Manchester United has triggered a 1-year extension in Erik ten Hag's contract to keep him at the club until 2026. The Dutchman's previous deal, which he signed when he was appointed in 2022, was due to expire in 2025. Ten Hag, who joined United from Ajax, has won 2 trophies in 2 years at Old Trafford. United finished 3rd in the Premier League during Ten Hag's first season in charge as the Dutchman ended the club's 6-year wait for silverware with victory against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final. However, his second season was far more difficult as United finished 8th in the Premier League and were knocked out of the Champions League group stage. A 2-1 victory against Manchester City in May's FA Cup final proved vital to Ten Hag's keeping his job. The club, led by co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe, following his investment last December, conducted a review of the team's performance across the season following the victory at Wembley. The review saw United speak to potential replacements for Ten Hag, but it was eventually decided that the Dutchman deserved to keep his job in order to work on the new, improved structure. It's now time for Nationwide's Olympic Fact, sponsored by Rainforest Caribbean.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
Did you know that in 393 AD, the Olympic Games were cancelled and didn't resume until more than 1500 years later? Yes, that's a fact. Emperor Theodosius I, a Roman ruler, banned the Greek Olympics due to the religious element of the celebration. He considered the Olympics to be a pagan festival which had no place in his Christian country. So that was the end of the Olympics until 1896, when a man named Baron Pierre de Coubertin started a revival of the Games. He called this new event the Modern Olympics, and it's still going today.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
Okay, that was Nationwide Olympic Fact, sponsored by Rainforest Caribbean.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:22.
For hard-to-get medications, over-the-counter and chemotherapy drugs, visit Dean's Pharmacy Pepin. When others don't have it, we do. Dean's Pharmacy. Feeling better starts right here.
The temperature by Dean's Pharmacy, feeling better, starts right here is
32 degrees Celsius in City Kingston and 32 in Montego Bay.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
This is a public service announcement from the Students' Loan Bureau. Our thoughts and prayers remain with everyone affected by the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Please be advised that we resume our regular services and operating hours on Friday, July 5, 2024 at 9 a.m. Additionally, you can continue to access and complete your online application through our customer portal at www.slbja.com. The Students' Loan Bureau, transforming dreams into reality.
The Jamaica Customs Agency is advising that the safety of our staff, customers, and other stakeholders remains our priority as we encounter the weather system, Beryl. We urge you to keep abreast on the latest advisories issued by the relevant government authority and encourage you to stay tuned to this station for updates from the JCA regarding our operations at the sea and airports and our head and corporate offices. You may also follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook at Jamaica Customs Agency and at X at Jamaica Customs for official customs-related information. Your safety and ours remains a priority. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
This is a public service announcement from Flow. Flow advises its customers that our services may be unavailable in some areas due to infrastructural damage and loss of power caused by Hurricane Beryl. Our teams are assessing the damage and making every effort to complete the repairs as soon as possible. Flow thanks you for your patience and encourages you to stay safe while we work to get you connected. That was a public service announcement from Flow.
This is an important announcement for the staff, contractors, and customers of Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited. Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited will reopen to its staff, contractors, and the public on Friday, July 5, 2024 at 8 a.m. The Massey Hurricane Committee has conducted a thorough safety assessment to ensure a secure environment for your return. They are asking that staff members and contractors who have access or no safety concerns to report to work tomorrow, Friday, July 5, 2024. Remember, your safety remains Massey Distribution's top priority. That was an important announcement for the staff, contractors, and customers of Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited.
Port Authority of Jamaica resumes operations tomorrow at cargo and cruise ports. The Port Authority of Jamaica wishes to advise that their cargo and cruise ports reopen and resume normal operations tomorrow, Friday, July 5, 2024. Preliminary reports do not indicate any major damage to infrastructure or to equipment at any of their facilities. All systems appear to have withstood the effects of Hurricane Beryl. Given the far-reaching impact of the hurricane, assessments are ongoing and further updates will be provided if there are any changes. We encourage all to comply with the orders of the Disaster Risk Management Act and to take every precaution to ensure safety.
This is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. As at 2 a.m. this morning, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security has confirmed that 182 shelters are in operation with 1,432 persons. The MLSS has an adequate supply of food and hygiene kits to address the immediate needs of persons staying in the shelters, and teams have already been dispatched to deliver supplies to them. The humanitarian response team, led by the MLSS in collaboration with Red Cross, ADRA, the Salvation Army, Food for the Poor, and other NGOs, has initiated house-to-house assessments in communities, which are accessible and will be providing emergency assistance as necessary. The teams will also be conducting assessments of damage to homes and making recommendations regarding necessary assistance. Persons who have been affected are encouraged to contact their parish disaster organizations. MLSS parish offices are open to handle matters related to disaster response and other emergencies. The ministry urges all persons to remain safe during this period and to stay tuned for further updates throughout the day.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Mahiri Stewart, and thank you to all of our YouTubers who are still tuned in. Feel free to chime in on today's Public Opinion by voicing your opinion right there in our live chat. So, it has passed. Hurricane Beryl came, it went, and now we are in the reconstruction phase. But let's rewind. Let's do some Back to the Future type stuff. Yeah, let's go back a bit, right? Let's see how you all managed throughout the hurricane. Today's public opinion question is none other than, what was your experience during Hurricane Beryl? And I realized a couple people alluded to it when I was reading 6 a.m. news, but I am quite tired, folks. I have been here since Wednesday morning, yeah? Slept over. The full hurricane experience, it was amazing, yeah? But in all seriousness, I believe around 2 p.m., 3 p.m., that's when the hurricane really started to pick up, at least where we are here at NNN. That's when we really started to feel the effects. That's when the high winds kicked in. That's when the heavy rain kicked in. That period from 2 to, let's say, maybe 9, 10-ish, that's when we experienced the full force of it, yeah? I'm happy too, Juliet. I'm happy that Beryl didn't blow me away either. It tried to. We followed the Prime Minister to Oddpem when he was giving his presentation to the nation. And right as it was over, and right as we were supposed to leave, it's as if the hurricane just hit right there. Breeze was blowing, rain was falling. It was the first time all day that it felt like an actual hurricane and not just heavy rain. And of course it happened right as we were leaving, right? So that's my experience. But let me go through the comments that we have and see what you guys' experience was like, yeah? Let's go through social media right now, yeah? Christine Reed says, just a couple hours without electricity in St. Andrew. Winston says, hi marks and kudos to the government for adequate shelters and accurate information to the public. 2 thumbs up for a job well done. CJ says, I was at home, my windows opened and feeling the cool breeze. All right. Beverly Barrett says, I can't make contact with my family in Sherwood Content, Trelawney. That's a shame. Hopefully, it was 4 hours ago. Hopefully she has gotten contact with them since. Natalie Winter says, high energy winds, speeds, rain and flooding on the roads and in yard, destruction of property and water damage of infrastructure. Dervon Ennis says, I wasn't affected that much, just about an hour without electricity. And Ian Robinson said it was terrible. But what are my YouTubers saying? How was it for you? I don't know what my place is looking like right now. I can only imagine it's quite fine back in Manchester, though, where I'm from. Our ackee tree has completely blown over. Never thought I'd see the day it got uprooted by anything, much less breeze. But yeah, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, those parishes got it way worse than we did in Kingston and St. Andrew. So we were there thinking we were getting the worst of it. We didn't see nothing compared to those southern parishes, folks. That's let me tell you that right now. Yeah. But where are we? Where's Leroy? Where's Leroy Rutty? I remember he was quite vocal when we were doing the pub ups leading to this hurricane. Where is he? I wanna see him. I wanna see what his time was like. Yeah? What do we have here? Dave Hutton says, there was a hurricane? Oh my. Yes, there was. Betsy Powell says, I enjoyed Beryl last night. It was so cool. I slept like a baby. What else do we have here? Beryl was okay for me, says Bali. Gilbert is still the boss. Oh my. What else do we have here? Juliet Sanchez saying she's happy Beryl did not blow me away. All right. Villa says it wasn't too bad in Portmore. All right. Karen Spence says extremely high winds. A tree fell on her roof. Oh, dear. All right. What else we have here? Is that it? Rutty's not here? No? Oh, that's a shame. He doesn't have power. Are you guys making that up? That's not funny. But Leroy Rutty, I'm going to make sure I get back to you on that. Yeah, I really want to know how his Beryl experience was, because he was chatting up quite the storm when we were leading up to it, yeah? But hopefully he's good, and hopefully we see him back in the chat at some point, yeah? Robert Luars says, I keep contact with my family and friends and my counselor. I carry for the people in this, the shelter in his division. Oh, the shelter in his division. Okay, Robert. All right, folks, that's an abbreviated version of Public Opinion today. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. I'm Mahiri Stewart. We're going to tune in right into the business report right now. Stay tuned.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34.
Don't let poor vision hold your children back. IQ Optical gives complimentary standard reflection-free lenses to children and teachers until May 31. Conditions apply.
The temperature by IQ Optical is...
It is 32 degrees Celsius in both Kingston and Montego Bay. All right, folks. UC Rosal Alumina Jamaica Limited Windalco is advising all employees that the Yuaton refinery in St. Catherine and all other company locations are back in operation. All employees scheduled to work on the 4 p.m. to midnight shift today, July 4, and the midnight to 8 a.m. shift Friday, July 5, are to report for duty. All other employees scheduled to the 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. workday are also advised to report to work. That was an announcement from Windalco. Good evening with the business report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Productive Business Solutions PBS and Iron Rock Insurance Company ROC are the latest entities to have trading in their shares suspended as the Jamaica Stock Exchange JSE tightens the leash on companies breaching its rules. Both entities were suspended because their financial statements are late. The suspensions, which took effect Tuesday, July 2, were implemented for the audited financials of both companies being more than 90 days late. That apart, Iron Rock's first quarter report is also more than 45 days late as well. The audited financials of both companies for the end of their financial year on December 31, 2023 were due on March 30, 2024, while Iron Rock's first quarter report was due on May 15. The suspension means no one can buy or sell the affected shares until they have submitted their late financials, and the JSE advises that their shares can be traded again. Otherwise, both companies continue to operate as normal. The European Union, EU, has raised tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles as Brussels takes action to protect the bloc's motor industry. The new tariffs on individual manufacturers range from 17.4% to 37.6%, which is on top of a 10% duty that was already in place for electrical cars imported from China. This could raise the price of EVs across the EU, making them less affordable for European consumers. The move is also a major blow for Beijing, which is already in a trade war with Washington. The EU is the largest overseas market for China's EV industry, and the country is counting on high-tech products to help revive its flagging economy. EU officials say this rise in imports was boosted by unfair subsidization, which allowed China-made EVs to be sold at much lower prices than the ones produced in the bloc. And in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 155 Jamaican dollars and 24 cents to buy $1. It cost 192 Jamaican dollars and 56 cents to buy £1 and 110 Jamaican dollars and 28 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. Stay tuned.
Outperform, outlast. We top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
This is a public service announcement from Flow. Flow advises its customers that with the passage of Hurricane Beryl, our retail stores will reopen tomorrow, Friday, July 5, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to serve you. Flow wishes you continued safety and thanks you for your understanding. That was a public service announcement from Flow.
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills. Fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
This is a public service announcement from the Students' Loan Bureau. Our thoughts and prayers remain with everyone affected by the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Please be advised that we resume our regular services and operating hours on Friday, July 5 at 9 a.m. Additionally, you can continue to access and complete your online application through our customer portal at www.slbja.com. The Students' Loan Bureau, transforming dreams into reality.
This is an important announcement for the staff, contractors, and customers of Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited. Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited will reopen to its staff, contractors, and the public on Friday, July 5, 2024 at 8 a.m. The Massey Hurricane Committee has conducted a thorough safety assessment to ensure a secure environment for your return. They are asking that staff members and contractors who have access or no safety concerns to report to work tomorrow, Friday, July 5, 2024. Remember, your safety remains Massey Distribution's top priority. That was an important announcement for the staff, contractors, and customers of Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads Podcast. It's a revolution in media.
The Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, BGLC, has advised that its offices located at 98 Hagley Park Road in Kingston will remain closed today, July 4, following the passing of Hurricane Beryl. Regular operations will resume Friday, July 5 at 8:30 a.m. The BGLC further encourages citizens to continue taking all necessary precautions to ensure safety. The BGLC is the regulator for Jamaica's gaming industry. Its mandate includes oversight of the operation of betting and gaming and the conduct of lotteries. The Commission grants permits, licenses, and approvals to persons or entities considered fit and proper to conduct betting, gaming, and lottery activities. It also protects the public from unfair, unscrupulous, and illegal gambling activities while encouraging those who participate in gambling to always practice responsible gaming. For more information, persons may visit the BGLC's website at www.bglc.gov.jm, send an email to info@bglc.gov.jm, or connect with them on Facebook, Instagram, or X.
Chewy flavor with delight. It really, really nice. May I say it twice?
The time by Jamaica Mountain Peak Golden Turmeric Latte is
6:43.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the Nation's Business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Now, several municipalities are this evening trying to put the pieces back together after a lashing from Hurricane Beryl on Wednesday. A Category 4 Beryl hit Jamaica started impacting the country on Wednesday morning. The parishes of St. Thomas and Portland were the first to be impacted with severe flooding. The storm brought with it dangerously high waters and exceptionally high waves, along with average winds of at least 74 miles per hour.
The Met Service said at 10 last night the center of Beryl was located 65 miles southwest of Negril Point. At the time of that final bulletin from the Met Service, Beryl was moving towards the west-northwest at 21 miles per hour. Parts of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, and Westmoreland sustained heavy damage during the passage of Hurricane Beryl.
Now, aerial footage seen by our news center shows several houses and business places in and around the towns of Junction and Treasure Beach with extensive damage to the roofs. Listeners, power lines have been downed and many roads stretching from Junction to Black River have been left impassable. For a discussion on rebuilding after Beryl, we're being joined by the chairman of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, Joel Williams, chairman of the St. Mary Municipal Corporation, Fitzroy Wilson, and we were due to be joined by the chairman of the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation, Richard Solomon, but unfortunately we're having connectivity issues. As you can imagine, a lot of the telecoms network is still being impacted. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening to you too.
Good evening. Good evening to you and your listeners from beautiful St. Mary.
All right, Mr. Wilson. But let me start with you, Mayor Williams. In Clarendon, how did you fare yesterday?
Badly. Extreme. The impact was very bad. We have lost most of our power supply, electricity, knocked out. Houses lost their roof. Businesses seriously damaged. In some of them in the town, a few of them in the town of Maypen, but more so on the southern coastal area of Rocky Point, Portland Cottage. Those areas were hit badly.
Yes, and the residents, I recall hearing a conversation with Councillor Mirage, I think it was yesterday morning, and he was saying that, he was having a difficulty, and I think he said you were also trying as well, to get the residents of Rocky Point who were in a vulnerable situation to move. How did they fare, the ones who resisted and stayed?
Well, on our check, in terms of numbers of persons in shelter, we had some 70-odd person in the shelter at Portland Cottage, and some 80-odd in that one at official shelter, the one at Rocky Point. But surprisingly, I was in the area this morning, And the report we receive is that once the hurricane started to impact the area, over 500 persons were packed into a market in Rocky Point, close to the beach.
Oh?
So, yes.
Is that the concrete one, the concrete market that's down there? Yes.
Quite so.
Yes.
Quite so. I gathered over 500 persons gathered in there last night. So they eventually heed the warning.
But still very dangerous for them to
But still very dangerous.
Yes.
Yes.
Fitzroy Wilson, how are things over there in St. Mary following Beryl's passage?
Well, we are grateful. Honestly, we expected worse. And hearing that Beryl was going to have direct hit to Jamaica, we were worried because we know that with just even just sometime we have devastation. We have flooded in Port Marion, especially on the Bay. But thank God, we always say at St. Mary, our cup is never half empty; it's always half full. And despite the fact that we are out of electricity for the entire parish, we have damages to roofs, houses, structure, land slippage, housing being landslide with houses slide away. We've had the total blockage of our road network yesterday. But by this morning, we would have had, if it's even single lane, going through, maybe 80% of the parish would have access. By midday, 1 o'clock today, we got news that the junction into St. Andrew from St. Mary, that road was cleared to single lane traffic. The other end to Ocherios would have been cleared also earlier this morning and into Portland. We have had minor damages, if any, to our resorts in the parish. The airport was pierced. So we would have had similar damages to other parishes, and it is going to take a pretty penny. You know that St. Mary is basically the banana parish of Jamaica, and maybe we would be looking at maybe 80% of the banana production in St. Mary, and planting and coconut to another extent would have been seriously damaged. So our farmers is at it again, and we are asking for support financially and otherwise from RAD and the Ministry of Agriculture. So we anticipate that. We expect some help from Ministry of Labour and Social Security with the social housing for these persons who have damaged. We had over 100 people in shelter in the parish yesterday. Today we haven't had any reports, or I haven't had any reports of persons remaining in shelter up to this point. So people would have been transitioning back to their homes and doing the cleaning up. Yeah, one of great point that is dear to me, or homeless people that is on the street, and also persons in the infirmary or residents in the infirmary. We checked on that this morning. We had no major damages to the infirmary apart from some few sheet of zinc that was lifted, and the major thing are fruit trees that we depend on at the infirmary to help to feed our residents. Fruit trees would have been badly damaged, banana and so on. So we've had a check of all of that. We've had a meeting this morning, approximately 11 a.m., to really look at the damages with all the state agencies were present. The only agencies weren't there were basically the JPS, and we would have understood why the JPS wouldn't be there, because they were out assessing, but we had a communication line open to them. But we have had all these relevant persons in the police, the fire, the JDF,
let me ask you specifically, Mayor Wilson, your capital, Port Maria, usually a very heavy flooding. Was that the case this time around?
We had no report of flooding in the capital, thanks. And
that's an improvement.
That's a result of the impact of our intense drain cleaning that we have undergone since the arrival of hurricane season. So from May coming into June, we would have cleaned, as I said on maybe this program before, we would have cleaned the entire Port Maria town stretch of drainage, whether they be parochial drains or it was NWA drains. We made sure that the drainage in the town of Port Maria was cleaned. And in one instance, that Frutos a bill just to clean the drains in the town was approximately over $1 million.
But then, but I hope you also are seized of the fact that the takeaway here is that the municipal corporation has to ensure. Okay, no, we're losing it. Mayor Wilson? No, okay.
It looks like we've lost him.
Mayor Wilson?
Hello? Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I was saying I hope the takeaway is clear to the municipal corporation that you have to ensure that drain cleaning is a continuous thing because Port Maria usually floods. So if you're saying that there was no flooding, I hope you intend to keep up the drain cleaning regime.
And let me tell you, I was impressed with the work of the team at the corporation, so much so that yesterday evening, approximately between 7 and 8, we had a drive-through. I had my driver and my team, and we went through the entire Port Maria, Paji, up to Sunside, and we checked all the areas because we said that, all right, the harsh part of the hurricane would have gone, and we're saying that the rains that come, and we went and we drive and checked all the drains that would normally be the troubled areas, and we realized that there was no uptick in the water running through. They were all running through at a certain level. So we look at the Ochum River. The Ochum River was not in state, and so we were able to rest a little bit easier last night, knowing that the drainage system was actually flowing. You know, so we would have had some scare also in Anata Bay, where the Motherford drain would normally be the
troublesome one.
Yes, and which is also an NWA drain, but we had heavy equipment went in even yesterday. We cleaned it yesterday morning, and because of the surge from the sea, it also blocked up back by the evening. The council in that area, Councillor Brian, went out again with the team, and they cleared the mouth of that drain again, and that is what really helped in making sure that we had that runoff. So I am so pleased with the team, because I can't take the credit. It's a team effort, and this is the type of work that I would like to see continue in the Municipal Corporation and St. Mary, that we know that each and every person has a part to play in the circle. And
Commendations.
if everybody does do that, then a part of the circle is going to be left open.
Commendations to them. Mayor Williams, you said at the start that it's bad in Clarendon, very bad. What will you need for recovery?
It's going to take a lot for recovery. We're presently doing the assessment in the various areas, also in the northern section of the parish, and we are trying to complete those assessments. We can't do anything until those assessments are completed. What we're doing presently, though, is try to do as best as possible to clear those corridors, major corridors that we are important to for commerce, to have them cleared so that we can have vehicular traffic going back and forth. So yes, so those are the two areas that we have to get under control right now, so that commerce can be back on track.
Mayors Williams and Mayors Wilson, I know telecommunications and electricity both have become issues following Beryl's passage. Have you gotten any firm commitments from those providers as to when things can be expected to be back on track?
No, not from the overhead here in Clarendon. I heard Minister Vaz this afternoon on your program having that discussion, and that some discussion will proceed tomorrow with JPS. But that is another very, very, very important issue that we have to deal with. I have to be trucking water right now to the Maypen Hospital because they are very, very low on that commodity. And so the electricity and the water cannot be overemphasized. or underemphasized as it relates to how important it is for the business of the town and those institutions to continue to function in a very effective way.
And Fitzroy Wilson, how about things on your end?
Well, things on my end, a section of the parish, we thank to God, the water area supplied by Bogue system in St. Anne. We've had water flowing in our pipes this morning. We have had a briefing with the NWC, and for the areas that is supposed to be pumped to the elevated sections, those areas remain without water at the moment, but there are sections of the parish that does have potable running water, and for the phone system, we have digital up and running. The other network is down. So for those persons who communicate via that network, we would have had the services through the whole episode of what transpired over the past 2 days, but we would not have the other network. But digital was up and running, and it is still up and running. So communication is partially on for most of the parish. It's only in some areas that we don't, because as you know, I am presently on the street, and I'm able to communicate with you via my cell phone. But the internet system is down, as you would understand, where the cable system is concerned. That is one grave thing. So most of the areas from Ocherius into St. Mary, most of that areas into Port Marriott would have had access to potable water, and other areas that is maybe gravity fed. The problem is some of the areas that is to be chlorinated and stuff, and those system would have been in spate, and the water would have been of a certain quality. Those areas would have to lock down. NWC would have to lock down those areas until the water quality gets better, and then so. All in all, by tomorrow we should be able to see water in some of the areas, rest of the areas, and when the electricity comes on, we would have been able to see more water being pumped to other areas that don't have water at the moment. We are upbeat, we are optimistic, and we trust and hope that our state agencies will come through good for us, because JPS, I would have seen their workers out doing their assessment. They would have been out doing their clearance of the line and so on. But us from the parish council, the municipal corporation, we have had our team going through, and by tomorrow we are supposed to have access to all roads in St. Mary by tomorrow being accessible, because all councils was given that mandate with their works overseer from each division to go in, assess what is happening, and then come back tomorrow morning. We are going to have a meeting at 10 a.m. and from there on the instructions will be given as to what, because we're watching the weather pattern and we want to make sure that whatever comes over the weekend, we're not impacted by this, what happened before. So we want to make sure our drainage system, if they're clogged by the excessive rain over the past 2-3 days, that they would have been cleared and clean, and to allow for the excess rain that we expect to run off, because we know that this is not a one-off thing for St. Mary. We know what the normal thing is when rain falls, and we have to be at our P's and our Q's, and we continue out there. It's a lot of work for us. We activated our emergency operation center. It was just lifted today. We have been there from Tuesday right up to today, and I must say thanks to the team at the Municipal Corporation. Yeah. Thanks for the agencies that was present over the whole period of time. Persons left their houses, and head of Water Commission was there, the fire department was there.
We have to leave it there.
Yes, man. We're grateful for all the persons who were in attendance at that emergency center for the 2 days, 2 nights up there in the Municipal Corporation.
All right. Mayor Joel Williams and Mayor Fitzroy Wilson, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome.
After the break, we head to the United Kingdom, where Sir Keir Starmer is romping to a 170-seat majority if the BBC's exit poll is to be believed.
Nation's Business was brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
The mission of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs includes revising Jamaica's legal and constitutional infrastructure and accelerating the pace of reform. The time by the MLCA is
7:02. This is a public service announcement from the Bank of Jamaica. The Bank of Jamaica wishes to advise the public that they are working closely with the banks to ensure the restoration of normal banking services in the shortest possible time. However, the absence of utilities across the island, the unavailability of staff due to the dislocation arising from the effects of the hurricane, and the inability of service providers to access a number of ABMs will adversely affect the speed at which normalcy is restored. The challenges are particularly acute in the rural areas, notably in the western parishes. The payment systems operated by the Bank of Jamaica, which facilitate the electronic settlement of transactions, are fully operational. A number of banks have started to provide limited in-branch services and are endeavoring to provide ABM services as widely as possible at this time. Additionally, the bank is advising that the online and customer support services for all banks are operational. They will continue to closely monitor the progress being made by the banks and will seek to address the areas of concern as they arise. Bank of Jamaica expresses sympathy to all persons negatively affected by Hurricane Beryl and wishes for all a speedy and full recovery.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091.
This is an important announcement from the Jamaica Broilers Group. Following the passing of Hurricane Beryl, the Jamaica Broilers Group Limited has experienced minor impacts and have resumed limited operations at its Best Dressed Chicken and High Pro divisions today. They say they expect to be fully operational by tomorrow, Friday, July 5, 2024. To the staff, customers, business associates, and the people of Jamaica, Jamaica Broilers Group Limited continues to pray for a quick recovery for all. They want you to stay safe.
The Jamaica Observer is always ahead. But did you know we're also number one by far? With over 18 million page views on our website, over 800,000 followers on Instagram, and a following of over 500,000 followers on Twitter.
We're tapping into an audience like no other.
And the numbers don't lie. Contact the Jamaica Observer team today to reach your target audience. Give us a call at 470-9172 to advertise with us.
The number one by far.
This is an important announcement for the staff, contractors, and customers of Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited. Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited will reopen to its staff, contractors, and the public on Friday, July 5, 2024 at 8 a.m. The Massey Hurricane Committee has conducted a thorough safety assessment to ensure a secure environment for your return. They are asking that staff members and contractors who have access or no safety concerns to report to work tomorrow, Friday, July 5, 2024. Remember, your safety remains Massey Distribution's top priority. That was an important announcement for the staff, contractors, and customers of Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
It's 6 minutes after 7. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We're turning our attention now to the parliamentary elections in the United Kingdom. Sir Keir Starmer has led, or it appears he's about to lead, the Labour Party to a massive landslide. Certainly the largest parliamentary majority in a generation. The BBC's exit poll is predicting that Labour has picked up 209 seats. If this exit poll is correct, Labour will end the night with 410 seats in the Commons, effectively blowing Rishi Sunak's Conservatives out of the water. We expected it though, didn't we, Siobhan?
Well, the polls have been predicting this for over a year now, it would seem, and the by-elections leading up to this election have pretty much shown that it was the Labour parties to lose.
Yeah. Here's more from the BBC.
But tonight there will be no arguing with Jeremy Vine's numbers. He's in Cardiff for the night and we are going across to him now. Jeremy, let's see what you've got.
Thank you, Laura. Yes, welcome to the headquarters of BBC Wales. And you can see this map here. You see the blue areas. They're Tory seats and the most marginal ones we put first. So we've got a board. Let's call it a battle board. And each tab is a seat. And there are 50 each time I change the board, and these are the most marginal seats, the most marginal of all for the Conservatives going into this election. Burnley with a 127 majority last time. Then Leon Atherton, new seat, 293 majority. Really slender majorities. High Peak, 590. And then you've got the twin seats of Bury South, Bury North, etc. As we go down the boards, the seats gradually get better defended and the Conservatives have a better chance of keeping them. Now let's show you what the exit poll is telling us. The results we put up, of course, are not results yet. They are going to flash because they're just predictions. But you can see this board. Most of the blue has been washed off this board, except for, interestingly, listening to Kirsty there, the Scottish seats. The Conservatives are defending their Scottish seats better than anywhere else. But it's a wash of red and Liberal Democrat orange as the opposition parties are just ripping through this first Tory board. So these seats changing hands, all the ones except Scotland, and Carshalton, Wimbledon, the top two Lib Dem targets, by the way. OK, let's move on. Let's do the next 50 Tory seats. And again, you can see what's happened. Let's have a look. We move it on. You see what's happened here. So seats 50 to 100, 51 to 100. Hendon goes, Truro goes, Wrexham goes. Hazel Grove goes Lib Dem, Plaid Cymru in Cyffredin. Dumfriesshire again stays Conservative. They're somehow defending their Scottish seats. But look at the damage here. We still haven't seen, until we get to Exmouth, a seat outside Scotland that the Conservatives have managed to defend successfully in their first 100. Finchley, Mrs Thatcher's old seat, goes Lib Dem. Let's look at the next board. Again, the map on the floor changes as I bring them on. That's a peachy Lib Dem target, Sutton and Cheam, so they've taken that under our exit poll prediction. Woking, they take Brecon, Eastleigh. It's a phenomenal night for the Liberal Democrats when you think last time they barely had a dozen seats. But look at the red going down the board. The Tories are not defending anything in England at this point, and we're still in the first 150 Conservative seats. The colours on the map are changing. Let's have a look at seats 151 to 200. Where will the Conservatives start to mount a defence in England? Again, Telford Labour, South Devon Lib Dem. Let's have a look. Frome and East Sussex Lib Dem. Lib Dem's doing brilliantly. Labour doing brilliantly. Beaconsfield, there we are. The Conservatives seem to have defended Beaconsfield, but that's heartland Conservative country. Bassett Law, Reform from the Conservatives. Tunbridge Wells, Bicester, Chelmsford. You're starting to see the Conservatives defend a seat here and there, but this is around about 180th, 190th target seats. Welling, Hatfield, Grant Shapps. Looks as though that one's gone under our prediction as well. Let's see the next board, shall we? Now we're 201 to 250. And again, even seats that are 200 down the target list, Labour are taking. Rochester and Strood, Isle of Wight West. Yes, some are being defended. Melstride back in central Devon, says our prediction. But look, they're taking Lowestoft. Gravesham is interesting. 199th on Labour's target seat list, and we've got them down as a Labour gain. Kettering, Mansfield, Wellingborough, Labour gains still in the majority on this board. You're seeing the Conservatives can't defend their own seats until you get to seat 251. right? So we're way down. We're in safe Tory territory now. Salisbury, Reigate, Tewkesbury, Cambridgeshire, North West, Beverley, Windsor. Even here, Labour are taking seats. Staffordshire Moorlands, Sutton Coldfield, Amber Valley, Herne Bay, Old Bexley, Broxbourne, Chatham, Solihull West. Even here, in their safest seats. Great Yarmouth was the seat of Brandon Lewis, the former Justice and Northern Ireland Secretary who stood down. That's gone under our prediction. So it is a horrible, horrible night for the Conservatives. Finally, here we are. And they mop their brows. Seat 300. And look, at last, the Conservatives are starting to mount a defence, but only in their safest seats. And even then, you've got Labour taking Cannock Chase, which had a huge Tory majority. So the whole map is changing tonight. It's just an extraordinary prediction we've got here.
Jeremy, thank you. Truly a roll call of disaster.
That report there from the BBC. Joining us now in studio to discuss the veteran Cliff Hughes. And, you know, as I listened to that report, I think the numbers tell a story, because in 2019, when Boris Johnson secured, what was it, 84? Was the majority,
yes.
swept the elections. A lot of people said Labour had a ways to go, and it would take almost a generation for them to recover. Now here Cliff Hughes, Keir Starmer, by all indications, is going to take the Commons in a massive landslide. Isn't this a complete collapse of the party of government? They call themselves the party of government in the United Kingdom.
The natural party of government,
yes.
They call themselves the Tories. This is carnage. This is carnage. Politically, it is an earthquake, because, as you quite rightly said, 4 or 5 years ago, in 2019, when Boris Johnson pulled off that remarkable win, it was felt that Labour would be in the political wilderness for at least 15 years. Now, tonight, what the former Director of Public Prosecutions in the United Kingdom, Sir Keir Starmer, has done is to radically transform Labour into a ruthless electoral machine. He has been ruthless in how he has gone about purging the Labour Party from the influence of the radical left.
Jeremy Corbyn.
The former leader, Jeremy Corbyn, who tonight is standing in his Islington North seat as an independent candidate against the Labour Party candidate. That is extraordinary in politics. The former party leader now, an independent candidate against the leader. Well, going back to the numbers tonight, as a student of British politics for a long time, this is, just put it in historical context,
yes.
the greatest election victory, in the last 50 years in British politics occurred on the night of May 1, 1997.
New Labour, Tony Blair.
Under Tony Blair. And then Blair won 418 seats. 418 seats, a majority of 179. Keir Starmer, if this exit poll, we should
stress that it's an exit poll, yes.
That this is an exit poll, but it has been proven so reliable, that it's accepted by just about every stakeholder in the British political system.
With a few hiccups here and there.
Yes, give and take a few seats.
Right.
If it is correct, Starmer has pulled off a victory of epic proportions, akin to what Blair did when he won 418 seats and returned a majority of 179. And certainly what is going to happen to the Conservative Party? Its vote has collapsed from about 38%. It is barely winning 15% now. It is being beaten into third place by Nigel Farage's Reform Party. It's running third in several constituencies. Yes, what is going to happen to it? Rishi Sunak, will have to resign by the end of the week. Yes, and will it descend into civil war in terms of the battle for the future of the party? I saw the former Justice Secretary on television just a while ago, Robert Buckland. He lost his seat and he was angry. The He was blasting Sunak and all of his colleagues.
But
in
is
the
that
Conservative
criticism
Party.
unfair, though? Because, in my estimation, a lot of what went wrong, starting with David Cameron and the disaster that was Brexit, compounded by Theresa May, who just could not command the unwieldy Commons, and then the character flaws of Boris Johnson, and then the utter disaster that was Liz Truss. How much of this can we fairly blame on Rishi Sunak?
He's a leader. He led them into this election. Yes?
A snap one at that.
Yes. That he could have waited for the fall in November. He decided to go early. Yes? And if he had been given the lead a day before, in politics, the leader is held to account.
But on that same topic, Rishi Sunak looked at the numbers as they represented themselves in terms of what he saw was essentially a bit of a wind to his back that he could potentially exploit. Wasn't this still the best opportunity he had, considering what would have faced him at a later date?
It was a no-win situation for him, yeah? But if you're in the trenches in politics, yes, if you have 5 months to go, use it. You may end up losing, but lose it because you don't know in the 5 months what could have turned. A week in politics is a long time. Yeah, and the other thing with Sunak, he would have known that he would be looking for an opportunity to go early. Yes. If you're of that mindset, get the party ready. The party wasn't ready. They made gaffe after gaffe, mistakes after mistakes.
Campaign.
It was utter disaster. Yes. So on that score alone, he is going to be crucified.
And let's not forget, Keir Starmer has faced quite a few criticisms for how he has handled, as you put it, the purging of the Labour Party.
I don't trust him. Let me tell you, frankly, I don't trust him.
Why?
I think he contorts himself into shapes and sizes depending on his audience and depending on what he thinks the moment desires.
So he's a populist.
That kind of politician?
No, he's not necessarily a populist.
I'm always wary of that kind of politician.
Yeah, it's not populism. It is opportunism. The politics of expediency.
Ruthless opportunism.
And it's going to catch up with you.
But I mean, you will look at it as it will catch up with him, but on election night and the end of election night, it seems that he made the right decisions.
Certainly for now. But we were talking about 4 or 5 years ago, Boris Johnson had made the right decision.
Yes.
Now he's no longer. In less than 5 years, he's gone. Yes? Keir Starmer has to be very careful. I just saw Don Butler from the left wing of the Labour Party pointing that they will have to govern differently than the Conservatives because what is very clear tonight, the British people now hate the Conservatives.
Yes.
They have kicked them out brutally. And it happened in 5 years, an 86 seat majority, a 170 seat majority can equally be overturned in 3-4 years if Labour and Keir Starmer don't govern in a way that deliver for Britain.
The pendulum can swing.
Absolutely.
And if we could just underscore the gravity of what's happening, I think I heard Finchley, Margaret Thatcher's old seat, going to the
She's
Lib Dems.
turning in her grave.
That's extraordinary.
Yes.
That is extraordinary.
It's a seat in North London, yes, the suburbs of Northern London. And trust me, when Finchley goes to the Lib Dem, yeah, it means that the people of Britain, they don't want anything about the Tories. There's another seat, Chingford, a seat that I lived in briefly as well. Yeah, solid, conservative, blue. It's going. Yeah? And several historic records are being broken. If this exit poll is correct, the current finance minister, the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, will lose his seat. And he will be the first sitting Chancellor to lose his seat in a general election. Yes?
Can I take you in a more wider context now? Because it seems an anti-incumbent mood is beginning to set in several capitals. In Paris, in Ottawa, in Washington, in London,
Kingston.
I was about to say, do I dare say Kingston? It's setting in. What do you make of that? What do you make of that shift that we're seeing? And in some cases, a shift either to the extreme left, even though Keir Starmer paints himself as a centrist, let's be clear, very much a leftist, or the extreme right, as we're seeing in places like France.
I don't know the answer to it. I must tell you, I suspect the pandemic and how that upended people's lives right across the world, it has just turned an idiot the political conventions that we have been used to. Yeah, the pandemic, and we're still suffering from it. Yeah, you hear people talk about the cost of living all over the world. Yes, governments that have done well economically, such as Biden,
right,
in America.
The numbers are there to show.
Yes, in Jamaica,
right.
The Holness administration has done well in terms of managing the macroeconomy. But people just don't feel that things are going well for them to give the incumbent another chance.
So doesn't that put to test the old adage that it's the economy, stupid? that as long as you've secured the economic foundations for your country, you are almost guaranteed to remain in power. But it seems that that adage is now completely gone to the wayside.
And I suppose it matters who you ask. Yes, because if you ask the man at the bottom of the spectrum, he'll tell you, I'm having a hard time of it. The business class, the business interests, all across. I was paying attention to Washington, and they were saying it almost baffles the mind why the business class is seemingly turning its back on Joe Biden when they've never had it so good.
Yeah. Well, Joe Biden comes with his own unique political problems. Yeah? You know what I'm talking about. His own unique problems. The other thing that we must start to think about, as students of history and politics, this is now July. Possibly, by the end of the year, you could have President Trump in the United States. In France, you could have Le Pen in control, Macron just drifting, being a weak president, and by next year, it could be President Marine Le Pen. Yeah? Canada might go to the right as well. Xi Jinping has no elections to face, right?
Nor does Putin in a serious way.
Nor does the other dictator, Putin. Yeah? Where will we be as a global community? The retreat of democracy.
And that's my point. Hasn't he won? Because he played the long game. He bet that it would collapse. He bet that it couldn't sustain itself.
Who is it?
Vladimir Putin. He bet that it couldn't sustain itself. And I fear, I have to tell you, gentlemen, that based on the trends we're seeing, he must be feeling very, very comfortable.
He must be. Yes, things are aligning quite nicely for him. Yeah, Biden, unless the Democrats can pull off a miracle now. Yes.
Well, I'm not quite sure I agree with you on that, and you know I don't agree with you on that. But neither has it made the point you're making. Yes.
The point is, right now, Trump is up 6 points in the polls.
Yes.
6 points in a general election.
With 4 months to go.
With 4 months to go. It's a short time, but up by 6 points, you're going into landslide territory. Yeah? You're not talking about the minimum 270 votes in the Electoral College now.
Right.
You're well north of 350, 370 when you lead by 6 points.
Yes.
Yeah? Unless the Democrats can quickly rally around Kamala Harris, yes, they have no chance now with Biden, who wants to go to bed by 8 o'clock.
Let's return to the UK, because I think aspect of this that should not be missed is the role that we would call the second-tier parties have played now in reshaping British politics. The Reform UKs, the Liberal Democrats. As I understand, the SNP has essentially collapsed itself.
In Scotland.
Yes.
Yes.
What have those parties essentially done to reshape the political landscape of Britain?
Have they? The Reform is more of an irritant than a transformational party or movement. Yes. The Brexit experiment has not delivered, so they have contributed more to the state of flux than anything else. Yeah. And that's why Keir Starmer and Labour, who is going to come to power tomorrow morning with a female chancellor, Rachel
She'd be the
Reeves,
first. Yes.
female chancellor. That team is pretty settled already because of Starmer's ruthlessness. Yes, that people like certainty and stability, and in Starmer and the Labour Party, they see a viable alternative. That is a problem Kingston may be having, Mr. Brooks, that our alternative is not clear. Our alternative is not yet visible. We have some spokesmen who churn out press releases, and that's the easiest thing to do.
But you don't see a solid government
You
waiting.
don't see a solid alternative cabinet and a platform of issues and policies that you are going to come into power in 6 months, and you have already thought it through. You have already analyzed it. You have the initiatives. You don't see that from the Kingston option.
But let me ask you this.
Typical in the way, for example, the Damon Crawford 1% increase in GCT.
Right.
And then the shadow minister saying, no.
Disjointed.
You wouldn't see that.
Yes.
In
Because
Keir
of
Starmer's
the
Labour.
discipline will
because
be there.
they're ready. They're ready for government.
But will that matter if the vote ultimately turns out to be simply a protest vote? An anti-incumbent vote?
Don't underestimate the people.
Okay.
Don't underestimate the people. Yeah. There are some who would love to think that the people are not sophisticated. Yes. But when the time comes to choose, you better come good.
All right.
Well, when Mr. Hughes stepped in here, I gave him an option of if he wanted to be a legendary journalist or just veteran journalist, and he settled on Emmy Award-winning journalist Cliff Hughes. So, Emmy Award-winning journalist Cliff Hughes. Thank you, sir.
The humility is bracing. It's 7:30. Thank you so much, Cliff Hughes. We take the break.
You're welcome, gentlemen, and good evening, listeners.
Presenting another finalist in the 2024 Jamaica Festival Song Competition.
Wagwan Jamaica, it's your girl Tristar, and my song is Jamaica, Jamaica. Jamaica, Jamaica, sweet and nice. We love a little island vibe. Jamaica, Jamaica, the island notes and many one people we rise. Tell them say we lick about with all our sweet
Jamaica Festival 2024.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come on, let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
We have a public service announcement here from the Ministry of Health, which is to advise the public that they have drafted for dissemination of the following advisories. The bed capacity of the hospitals and the functioning of the accident and emergencies, the tips about going outside after the passage of a hurricane, as well as 9 post-hurricane press advisories have also been drafted that will be scheduled for dissemination over the next 24 hours. That includes tips about going outside, dengue prevention, leptospirosis prevention, prevention of injuries, water safety, appointment and medication, as well as physical health. They will also be sending out and disseminating information for mental health, safety tips for the use of generators. They also have social media ads that will be going out. That includes 5 videos which were developed in preparation for Hurricane Beryl. Radio ads will also be coming out. That includes public service announcements that will be continuing to be played on radio. Educational materials such as social media cards will be drafted from some of the new press advisories. They'll also have interviews on July 3, 2024 on all angles on TVJ. The chief pharmacist at the NHF warehouse was one of the interviewees. She spoke to balancing home life with being an essential worker that has her working during emergencies such as the passing of Hurricane Beryl. The Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, was also interviewed on CVM this morning.
The Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, BGLC, has advised that its offices located at 78 Hagley Park Road in Kingston will remain closed today, July 4, following the passing of Hurricane Beryl. Regular operations will resume Friday, July 5 at 8:30 a.m. The BGLC further encourages citizens to continue taking all necessary precautions to ensure safety. The BGLC is the regulator for Jamaica's gaming industry. Its mandate includes oversight of the operation of betting and gaming and the conduct of lotteries. The Commission grants permits, licenses, and approvals to persons or entities considered fit and proper to conduct betting, gaming, and lottery activities. It also protects the public from unfair, unscrupulous, and illegal gambling activities while encouraging those who participate in gambling to always practice responsible gaming. For more information, persons may visit the BGLC's website at bglc.gov.jm or send an email to info@bglc.gov.jm or connect with them on Facebook, Instagram, or X.
Welcome back, listeners. As we move away from the UK and its elections, we're now going back to Hurricane Watch, essentially. We are tracking Beryl as it comes into the Cayman Islands. Hurricane Beryl is headed toward the Cayman Islands and Mexico today. While residents of Grand Cayman can now leave their houses, the authorities are warning that there are potential hazards. Preliminary damage assessments have taken place and debris clearance is on the way. The Caribbean Utilities Company says the transmission network on the island's eastern end has also been damaged.
The Cayman Islands National Weather Service says Grand Cayman is expected to have overcast skies with widespread thunderstorms throughout the day. Flooding in multiple areas is expected, which will lessen by this evening as Hurricane Beryl moves further away from the Cayman area. Rough seas are still expected through Friday. The Weather Service says a marine warning is in place as seas will remain dangerous for marine activity of any kind. Joining us now to discuss Beryl in the Cayman Islands, a journalist at the Cayman Compass, James Whittaker. Good evening, James.
Hey, good evening. How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. We could be a lot worse, all things considered.
Yeah, and how did the Cayman Islands fare generally?
So I think the overriding emotion here is relief. It was a close shave, but Hurricane Beryl skirted about 50 miles south of Grand Cayman at its closest point, and we didn't quite get the battering that we anticipated. There was some damage. There was some serious damage to some apartments in low-lying areas. But largely, Grand Cayman came out of this unscathed, and we've seen, even myself and plenty of other people came through without losing power, without losing water, which was really unexpected in the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds as if the Cayman Islands has fared quite well considering the circumstances. Have you received any concerns relating to the closure of roads due to impassable areas, or are there any other concerns in terms of telecommunications?
No. The short answer is no. The South Sound Road, which is one of the lowest lying areas, was closed. Well, in fact, all the roads were closed until about 1 o'clock when the all clear was given. There was a shelter-in-place order until about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And there was still some debris on South Sound Road, which is one of the lowest lying areas in the country. But that's reopened now. There were still a few homes in the eastern side without power as of this afternoon, but I think, pretty close to this evening, everybody should be restored. There was one or two apartment complexes where the storm surge came over the seawalls, and there was, in fact, one complex I visited earlier today where it had battered through the storm shutters and the windows and washed through the bottom floor of an apartment complex there. That's about the size of it, though. That's about the worst damage that we've seen. And Cayman's infrastructure is very good since being rebuilt post-Hurricane Ivan.
Mm-hmm.
And this storm particularly doesn't seem to have affected us as bad as it has at other countries in the region.
James, the authorities there are warning that there may still be potential hazards. Have you been able to track down or put your finger on what those hazards are exactly?
Well, there's a few electricity poles down on the eastern side of the island. There's debris on the roads in places. There's, I think what they're warning about as well is, around complexes where there's a bit of flooding and there's a few trees down, that kind of thing. But to be fair, this is not something that we haven't seen before. We were very worried about this storm because it's a Category 5 storm, and we saw what it did in the Eastern Caribbean, and we saw partially what it did in parts of Jamaica. But the impact has been less, I would say, than even tropical storms that we've had in previous years.
Mm-hmm. You talked a little bit just now about the change in building. Did I understand you correctly? Building codes following the passage of Hurricane Ivan?
Yeah, so everyone in the Caribbean will remember Hurricane Ivan and Grand Cayman. The Cayman Islands were particularly devastated by that storm.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a building code change after that requires the all buildings to be built to a higher grade. So the building standards are much higher. Building foundations are built at a higher grade, so we don't see as much impact, particularly on new buildings.
And that's a mandatory thing now going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. It was something that was brought in 2005 or 2006, just after Hurricane Ivan. They upgraded the building standards, and that's something that's required for all buildings to meet a minimum level.
And I think that's a conversation a lot of Caribbean islands governments across the Caribbean are going to have to start taking seriously, how we build and whether we're building with the requisite resilience to deal with these increasingly dangerous weather systems.
You're right. Considering the circumstances, how has travel, if at all, been affected outside of the island? I should say in and out of the island. Have the airports been reopened?
So the airport was about to reopen just as I came onto the phone just now, although there aren't any flights today, so sort of academic that it's reopening. I think there might be one flight coming in from Miami, but it closed at the main airport in Grand Cayman closed about 6 p.m. yesterday after there were dozens of evacuation flights on Wednesday taking tourists out of the island and some people that didn't want to stay for whatever reason. There was a real fear around this storm, don't get me wrong. Cayman, as I said, has been built to a better standard, but there's still a lot of low-lying properties that could have been badly hit. We were very lucky with the way the storm passed and the speed at which it passed, that the storm surge wasn't as bad as expected. Yeah. But certainly the build-up to it, everybody was anticipating a big hit, and for that reason you saw a massive evacuation on Wednesday. At the airport, and the flights will be back to normal tomorrow.
I'm wondering, did you face a bit of the same level of obstinacy from certain communities or certain individuals not willing to evacuate as we faced here in Jamaica?
We didn't, actually, and one of the things the head of the hazard management, chairman of the hazard management committee was just saying, interviewed him this afternoon, was one of the reasons they feel that Cayman did so well in the storm is that people really heeded the messages. People were very, very nervous, almost scared in the run-up to this storm because of we'd seen what it had done in some of the Grenadian islands and up St. Vincent. And there was, just coming so early in the season as well, people didn't want to be unprepared. So I think almost everybody heeded the message, and we didn't hear of any kind of sort of foolish behavior. Although I must admit, when I was out this morning, I did see somebody swimming, which was probably unwise.
Or people will always be our people.
There's always one, right?
James Whittaker, journalist at the Cayman Compass. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, stay safe. James Whittaker there, journalist over there in the Cayman Islands. Yeah, essentially they dodged it, the brunt of it, and they've been given the all clear. So that's good news.
I'm happy to hear it. It's good that it seems so far the Cayman Islands, as well as Jamaica, fared relatively well after the passage of the storm. And my heart still goes out to those in St. Vincent, Grenada, and I believe also Barbados and Venezuela who had a bit of a rougher time in terms of the passage of Hurricane Beryl compared to us.
And of course, or in people here in St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, and parts of Manchester. Yeah? But as you say, relatively well. Yeah? We fared better. Yeah. 630-9371-4, 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call. You know them. And there you go.
Phone already ringing, I see.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
The Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, BGLC, has advised that its offices located at 78 Hagley Park Road in Kingston will remain closed today, July 4, following the passing of Hurricane Beryl. Regular operations will resume on Friday, July 5 at 8:30 a.m. The BGLC further encourages citizens to continue taking all necessary precautions to ensure safety. The BGLC is the regulator for Jamaica's gaming industry. Its mandate includes oversight of the operation of betting and gaming and the conduct of lotteries. The Commission grants permits, licenses, and approvals to persons or entities considered fit and proper to conduct betting, gaming, and lottery activities. It also protects the public from unfair, unscrupulous, and illegal gambling activities, while encouraging those who participate in gambling to always practice responsible gaming. For more information, persons may visit the BGLC's website at www.bglc.gov.jm, send an email to info@bglc.gov.jm, or you can connect with them on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide This Morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
This is a public service announcement from the Bank of Jamaica. The Bank of Jamaica wishes to advise the public that they are working closely with banks to ensure the restoration of normal banking services in the shortest possible time. However, the absence of utilities across the island, the unavailability of staff due to the dislocation arising from the effects of the hurricane, and the inability of the service providers to access a number of ABMs will adversely affect the speed at which normalcy is restored. The challenges are particularly acute in the rural areas, notably in the western parishes. The payment systems operated by the Bank of Jamaica, which facilitate the electronic settlement of transactions, are fully operational. A number of banks have started to provide limited in-branch services and are endeavoring to provide ABM services as widely as possible at this time. Additionally, the Bank of Jamaica is advising that the online and customer support services for all banks are operational. They will continue to closely monitor the progress being made by the banks and will seek to address the areas of concern as they arise. Bank of Jamaica expresses sympathy to all persons negatively affected by Hurricane Beryl and wishes for all a speedy and full recovery.
We're on the final lap now, just 10 minutes to go. We're taking your calls, 630-937-124, 618-8255. Keisha, good evening. Keisha?
Siobhan, good evening.
How are you?
Keisha?
I'm good so far. Survived Miss Burial.
Good.
But the thing that I'm concerned about, I'm not able to communicate with any of my family members in St. Elizabeth.
Yes.
Not able to get through to my mom. My mom, she's in Eastern Westmoreland. My sister, my uncle, one of my brother.
Mm-hmm.
My stepmom, she lives in Black River. Not able to get through to her either. I have a sister that lives in Treasure Beach. Not able to get through to her. I have a sister that lives in White House. Not able to get through to her. And my little sister that lives in Carolina. Not able to get through her either.
And you last spoke to them when?
Well, yesterday. Probably some minutes after 5. I know everyone that I spoke to yesterday, they told me that there was no electricity, but I'm not sure if it's that the digital system is down or what, because when I was talking to them at one point, the signal was up and down.
Oh Lord. Well, we obviously hope they're safe. Yeah.
Yeah, but based on what I'm getting, with the devastation happening in St. Elizabeth, I'm pretty much concerned because St. Elizabeth seems to get it full blast.
Yeah. I can understand, Keisha. Let's hope that coming out of the meeting tomorrow, the Minister, Darrell Vaz, will be able to get some clear assurances in terms of when these systems will be back up. And that was the point I was making to Siobhan
because
earlier.
I have a home in St. Elizabeth too, and I'm wondering what's up with the roof.
Yes.
The roof went, so I'm not able to get to anybody to find out because I have somebody living there, but I'm not sure what's up. And I must say this, Siobhan, I made to understand that Chisholm Avenue is without electricity from yesterday. I'm not sure if it's the entire Chisholm because while some have current now, they were out of current yesterday. I think they got current sometime this morning. But what I was told, a road leading off Chisholm Avenue are without electricity from yesterday.
Yeah, Chisholm Avenue. All right, thank you, Keisha. We do.
Right, bless up.
Yeah, man. We hope they're okay. And we hope you get in touch soon.
Oh my God, I'm anxious.
Yeah.
All the best, Keisha.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Ricardo, I can't imagine anything more anxiety-inducing than not being able to contact your relatives after a disaster.
Yeah, and communication is so very important in these moments. I can understand people's frustration. So, while as I say, I get that, JPS has to go about it in a sort of methodical way, people are obviously going to get frustrated, especially if, as Keisha said, you can't get through to your loved ones to find out what's the state of play in a parish that has been severely impacted.
And it's interesting, that technology creates so many opportunities and also with it brings so many problems.
Indeed.
Landlines would not have been as heavily affected by the passage of a hurricane as cell phones would have been under these circumstances.
Assuming the poles held up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who's next? Carl, good evening.
Evening, Carl. Evening, Shabba. Keisha called me and tell me we are in Clarendon. If they call from morning, could I go drive, go find out and could I give you a call to tell you about the person in Clarendon.
Okay, well, all right. If Keisha,
anyhow, I get up this morning and it have to do some cleaning up on the Salt River Road.
Mm-hmm.
That's we have access to can drive out. So I am okay.
That's good.
Just want to ask you two questions.
Yes.
I'm much into politics right now.
Okay.
There was something sent to the Parliament from last year, an Integrity Commission. I don't hear nothing about it.
6?
In a 6 or 5, whichever. It sent some documents over 2 weeks now to the Parliament.
My information is that it was 1 document.
Yes, 1.
The annual report.
That's the annual report, yes.
Or will be some argument that go about 6?
No.
Anyhow, the next one I want to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
We heard Sunday evening that the British citizen was going to denounce his British citizen Monday.
Renounce it, yes.
Yeah, we hear today is Thursday. Thursday are finished now. We don't hear nothing further.
I mean, there was a hurricane intervening, Carl.
No, that's yesterday. Yeah. We have Monday and Tuesday.
By the way, these things don't happen in 48 hours, you know that, right?
No, but if it did start Monday, then we could have here and we have whole day Tuesday.
All right. Here's what we'll commit to doing. We'll commit to doing a follow-up to find out when Mr. Golding intends to do it and what is the timeline, okay?
Because we did hear say Monday.
Yeah, all right.
And left with this one now for me run. Like how British have one governmental whiteboard. Mr. Golding can pack him back and go there to be leader. And I feel so.
Keir Starmer is going to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Today, most likely today, you would have to vote for the Labour Party first in life.
How you know that? How you know that he will support the Tories?
White man lead the Labour Party.
Oh Lord. Goodbye, Carl. Goodbye. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
I don't even know where to begin with that. But that does raise an interesting question. What is the process of renunciation when it comes to matters of citizenship? Is it I sign a document saying I have renounced?
That sounds like something an enterprising journalist who is the parliamentary correspondent should look into.
I thought that someone as erudite as you would already have that answer ready.
I don't, and I'm hoping that an enterprising journalist will find out the answer and let me know.
I'm sure between the two enterprising journalists that sit here, we'll find that out, correct?
I don't know. Feels like a Chevron task. All right, that's all the time we have this evening. Special thanks to our hardworking producer, Dana Davey. I didn't get coddled today. I noted that. I didn't get coddled today. And I've taken note of it. But I've taken note that you didn't coddle me today. But that's okay. That's all right. Andrew Glenn Anderson, the bubblegum.
What?
The ladies bubblegum. Yes. Carl Powell, our editor.
For the clarification.
Our colleagues in the newsroom. Thank you all so much. We appreciate your listeners, of course. Our YouTubers, thank you for keeping us company. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good evening.
This is Wayne Walker from Nationwide 90 FM, and I'll be reporting live from the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Nationwide